Greetings, punks, goths, metalheads and herberts and herbetters, Romans and countrymen. How are you all doing? My name's John and this is the Health Anarchist channel. Well, today it's an absolutely lovely day, so I thought I'd make the most of it and get outdoors. So I'm on one of my health walks at the moment, which is just local. It's at the bottom of Hobson Hills, or more specifically under Wild Bank, but it's a nice little countryside walk to get out and chill on and get fit and healthy at the same time. Now, I was going to do an indoor video today talking about what it was like when I first went out to alternative clubs as a teenager, and I thought I was going to do it inside, but I thought, nah, do you know what, it's a great day, let's get outdoors and do it outdoors. So here we are now. So basically what this video is going to be is it's going to be a story time of what it was like when I first went out to an alternative club at age 16. Well, first of all, at that age I shouldn't have even been in a club, but I was into punk in the last couple of years at school, and a couple of girls, well, no, they're sisters, one was a year older than the other one was still at school in my year, and they said, why don't you come out to an alternative club? And I said, we're too young. And they said, we've been loads of times, we just get in. Now, the club that I'm talking about, it's in Manchester, where I was brought up, and it's in city centre, and it was called the Banshee. It's not there anymore, but yeah, the Banshee Club, and it was usually American rock upstairs and downstairs was alternative. And when I say alternative, what was classed as alternative then was like punk, goth, sort of indie bands, but they were all classed as alternative, and that's what it was downstairs. I didn't really bother with the upstairs. I did like a bit of metal at school, but I was more into the sort of thrash metal, extreme metal side of things, and it was all American rock upstairs, so I didn't really bother with that. So there was a gang of us, and we was all the same age, about 16 in our last year at school. So we got the train up to Manchester city centre, and we was all a bit nervous, thinking, are we going to get in or not? So we go to the door, and they just let us in without even a question. So we all couldn't quite believe our luck. We'd been let in, and to be honest, I think they were used to youngsters going in, or they couldn't tell, I don't know. But anyway, we were in, we're all in our gear. I was the only punk in the group. We had one goth, a couple of rock people and a metal person. So we all got in and was like really excited. So I'll just show you a couple of flyers of the club here. What it looked like, it was a smallish club, and it had a bit of that unusual sort of lived in, is the best way I can put it, that kind of lived in CBGB's type of thing. You'll know what I mean, I think, but here's a picture of it. So what sort of people did you get going in there? Well, upstairs it was all like rock people into American rock and metal, and downstairs you had a mixture. There was a lot of students, and there was a lot of goths, and there's quite a few punks in general, then a few people, you know, that were just dressed as nondescript studenty types. So that was the kind of the mix that was in there. So downstairs was a mixed bag really, it was alternative, so they were playing stuff like Sisters of Mercy, Bauhaus, The Damned, The Chameleons, Killing Joke, New Order, Joy Division, and they're playing punk stuff like Dead Kennedys, Sex Pistols, The Damned, Crass, Anti-Nowhere League, Virgin Prunes, New Model Army, The Wonder Stuff. So kind of a mixed bag really, but I'm going to keep remembering more and more, but I'm going to have to stop here. So what were people like with me as a teenager and my friends? People were great with us. People didn't really bother us, but I used to talk to people sometimes. I'd talk to the older punks and find out more about punk and punk bands and stuff like that, and I'd talk to some of the goths. Yeah, it's pretty cool really. People were all right with us. I'd say it was a place where I felt accepted. I mean, looking at us, they could tell we were youngsters, the older people, and they were all right with us. I mean, you get one or two who are a bit, you know, unfriendly, but 9 out of 10 people were great with us. but we were viewed as youngsters, and maybe it was our approach. We didn't go in there thinking we knew everything or thinking we were the most punk or the most goth person in there at our young ages. Because we were as friendly, polite and respectful, people treated us all right. And you know, it's just the way it goes. If you go in somewhere saying I know everything about punk, I'm the most punk person in there, you're going to get problems. So luckily none of us were that silly. Also, when I started going out in the late 80s, about 1988, the scenes had changed a bit. The punk scene used to be really violent at times in the late 70s and the early 80s. And when I say that, I know people who lived through that, older punks, and they said it was like a cowboy film in a bar fight with like chairs flying all over the place and bottles. But by the time I got into it in the late 80s, it had mellowed a bit, and punks weren't fighting amongst themselves so much anymore. And particularly, they were a bit kinder and sort of looked out for the younger punks a bit. And that was the sort of scene I walked into. So how did the different subcultures get on with each other? In general, they didn't really bother each other at all. Sometimes you get people talking to, like punks talking to goths, or more often goths talking to punks. You know, and most people were all right with that. You did get a few who were a bit like silly rivalry, like there's a few punks laughing at the goths. Nothing really bad or nasty, but just a bit silly really. But I always got on with the goths. I had goth friends, so it was good. It's probably why I ended up sort of into horror punk, which is a cross between goth and punk, I guess. But all the joking and mick taking aside, you know, if there was ever a problem, like if we're outside at the end of the night and there was a load of like trendy square people coming past laughing at the goths, then the punks would be up there, they'd be going, leave them alone. And that was really nice. And vice versa, if there was punks getting trouble off people outside, goths or the metal people would stick up for us as well, and we'd stick up for them. So kind of all alternative, we all looked out for each other a bit. So I hope you enjoyed my little story time video today. If you did enjoy it, please don't forget to give us a like and subscribe. Until the next video, keep yourself very safe. Take care. Bye.